Vietnam, my name is Alexandria and today I will be doing a book talk / recommendation of Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I will be doing the first book of the series. Hopefully you guys will tag along with me to read the rest of the series. I have already read this book. In fact, I've read the first four books. I've read the first 4 books. The reason it's taking me so long to read this is I read the first book and then I took a break, and then so I had to read the first book and the second book, and then I took another break, so I had to read the first book, the second book, the third book, and then so on and so forth. I have not read the last book, Opposition, but this is why we're here, because I have to start with book 1 again, because apparently it hasn't soaked in my mind yet. Like, genuinely, I don't mind reading this book again, but this time was actually a bit different. This was a different format that I read this book. Usually I just read, and it takes me like an hour or 2 to read this book. This time I decided to retain the knowledge as much as I could. I read it aloud in a Scottish accent. Now, why did I read it in a Scottish accent, you may ask? Well, it's kind of like a writer thing. Like when you write, you're supposed to, when you edit through it, you're supposed to change the font so that you no longer just skim through it. That's what I was doing. Because if I read it aloud, just like, I would have just skimmed through it since I've already read it aloud. So by challenging myself and reading it in a Scottish accent, it took me longer to read this book. I retained more information. I found a little bit more golden nuggets, but overall I kind of knew the basis of the story. But it was fun, it was different, and if you do have problems with not retaining information, I totally recommend you try it because it's worked tremendously for me. So, what is Obsidian about? What is it about? Why are we here? Why is this frizzy-haired, self-proclaimed writer recommending it to me? Well, I will explain to you. Do not worry. What is this book? It is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And if you want the best experience, just go on and read it. It's about a new girl in town, a hot, sassy love interest, paranormal romance. If you liked Twilight, you'll love this. That's what I'll leave you with, what it's about and stuff like that. Where does it come from? It comes from Jennifer L. Armentrout, probably the creator of hot, sassy love interests. She is amazing at dialogue. You may know her from the Half-Blood series. She wrote that. Also, one of my favorites, the White Hot Kiss trilogy. I'm not sure if it's called the White Hot Kiss trilogy or if it's called something else, but yes, we're not gonna get too much into detail about that. And why am I recommending it to you? Here are some of my favorites, okay? If you see a book you like, then you know this recommendation is good for you. Also, include the Shadow Me series on this. This one, the Shadow Me series is on this shelf, so you can't see it. But if you like any one of these books, then trust my recommendation when I recommend Obsidian to you. And I say go, read it now. Don't let me spoil you. I'm about to spoil you, so if you don't want to be spoiled, like, leave. So yeah, without further ado, I bring you the spoiler-filled review of Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have warned you. So Katie. You think I'd remember her name at this point, considering I've read the book like 10 times? Like, I know her name's Katie. Katie something. It's like Schwartz or Schwul or Schwan, but it's short. It starts with sh, like S-C-H. She's the new girl in, by God, West Virginia. She's a book blogger in this small little provincial town, and shit starts a-poppin' when she gets involved with her next-door neighbors, the Blacks, more specifically Damon Black, the hot, sassy alien who kinda hates her for a majority of the book. But when he accidentally uses his abilities to save her life, he leaves a trace on her. So these two hot-headed people have to, they're kind of meshed together, and they do this in order so that he can protect his family and Katie can protect her friend and also herself. And so yeah, these two hot-headed characters are stuck together and their interactions are so fun. Meanwhile, the enemy race of the Lux, let's talk about the first encounter. Katie meets Damon basically like 5 or 6 pages into the book, which is not a problem. I genuinely love their initial interaction. Granted, I don't think any guy should talk to you like this in real life and still be considered as a potential suitor. Then she meets Dee, his sister, and they click almost instantly. And this is where I kind of have a problem with it, mainly because Jennifer L. Armentrout is so good with creating chemistry, and I see the chemistry between Dee and Katie. Like, I'm like all for it. I just felt like there was just kind of a lack in the start of their relationship. So even though I grew on to love their friendship, at first it was kind of hard for me to be like, I am okay with this, just because like it was kind of insta for me. And it's, a lot of people think like insta love is like when you meet someone you instantly love the love interest. That is not the case with the protagonist, and I kind of get it that the sister would immediately click and the brother would kind of had some struggles basically, but I just felt like that part could have been fleshed out more, maybe a bit. But overall, like, I'm not complaining. Like, I can look past that. I'm not saying that's the reason why like this book is awful, because it's not awful. It's great. Overall, Katie's interactions with all the characters is phenomenal, and I think that Jennifer L. Armentrout does an amazing job with the dialogue. Dialogue is such a key, like, if you know how to do it, you know how to do it, and Jennifer L. Armentrout knows how to do it, and she does it beautifully. So by the point that shit starts popping, you know who Katie is, like, not just by her internal monologue, because what her internal monologue is and what she says are, like, two different things. And to see them kind of, like, contrast and compare, it creates a whole different character, and I really enjoyed that. And her ability to make chemistry with any character in like 2 seconds is magnificent. And as this story gets poppin', we know Katie, and this bitch is boppin'. Like, she boppin'. So to reclaim his sister's favor, Damon tries to get into Katie's good graces. This is what Katie believes. However, when this interaction or this conversation happens, Damon reveals that, you know what, you gotta stay away from my sister, like, bye. And she's like, what? And like, are you threatening me? What? And she like starts running away, and she almost gets hit by a moving vehicle, but guess who comes to save her? Damon. And in doing this, he kind of reveals his abilities and that the fact that he's an alien. The aliens are referred to as Lux, at least the ones that, the blacks, and the other ones, I don't remember the other, Ash and like Adam, and the other one that has an A, but they are all Lux. They're from this planet that's far, far away. Then the fun stuff, like, it starts popping. And so Damon and Katie are kind of forced together while the Arum, the Lux's enemy race, is at bay. So it kind of weaves this nice story between a good sci-fi and a sizzling romance, and it's just beautiful. Like me, I love sci-fi, I love a good romance. This was really, like, very interesting for me, so. The chemistry between these two people is fire. It's light, it's ignis, it's electric. It is electric, these two. The moment that we meet them or we see them interact, we can feel it. Like, we can feel like, oh, okay, like, this shit popping. Like, it ain't insta love, it ain't insta like, or nothing like that, and they hate each other, but, like, they physically, like, they hate each other, but you can feel that tension, and you're like, but do you really? But do you really? Sometimes I really, like, I've been thinking about this lately because I just finished Shadowhunter Season 2, but I'm like, what if Jennifer L. Armentrout, like, wrote the script for, like, clay scenes? Or just, like scenes that need to be improved. You kind of know how your book to TV show adaptation is doing when a majority of the fans start shipping non-canonical ships. So back to Obsidian. So yeah, we get to see them interact. We get a nice, lot of scenes of them at school, them spending time together, all this world building stuff. And as the story weaves, like, we know, we've read the book, so I don't need to go into detail of all that stuff. But let's talk about that kissing. Can we? Yes. So every time I'm reading this scene, I'm always in public. Like, no matter what I do, I am in public. I will be around no one, like, 2 pages before, but in 2 pages, I will suddenly be in the busiest mall of America. For example, like, I finished this book today for, like, the 10th time. I was in Starbucks. Like, this scene, I never see this scene coming too, so I can't prep myself either. So I'm, like, in Starbucks, I'm in the line, I'm about to get my freaking unsweetened tango, like, I'm about to get my drink, I'm about to get my stuff, I'm doing my thing, and here I am, I flip the page, and I'm like, shit, and I close the book, I'm like, not today, Satan. Like, no, we're not doing this, because I am always afraid of someone looking over my shoulder, right, and reading, and usually I don't mind, but when it comes to this sizzling hot stuff, I'm like, ooh, And it's like, it's not even like sizzling, it's just chemistry, you know what I mean? Like, they kiss once, but like, even when they interact, you know, in conversations, I'm still like very like looking over my shoulder, making sure no one is reading this, because this should be popping. Like, it be sizzling. They got chemistry, so I don't care what y'all think. So the next part, I guess, of this review is my tabs. I tab all my books, at least ones that I've read more than once and that are favorites. But this one, since I've read it so many times, I do have tabs in them. So I will be going through, I have like 11, so I'm going to be reading 5 of my favorite moments. So the first one is on page 15 in chapter 2-ish, I guess. And the reason I like this quote, or this sentence that Katie says, is because to me, like, even though the story had not been published at this time, it just works if you read the White Hot Kiss series. What the heck was wrong with him? I thought people in small towns were supposed to be nice, not act like the son of Satan. Roth can't be that bad. We've met Roth. Roth is this gentleman ball of fury and fire and sass. Like, I just called him a sun, like a legitimate solar sun. But anyways, second one is on page 22. Oh my gosh, I know exactly which one this is. I get my splint off tomorrow, I think. Damon tapped his pen off the edge of the desk. That should help. Help with what? He circled the pen in the air, apparently encompassing my fashion sense. With what you got going on there. Like, I was just like, how you gonna do it like that? Like, how you gonna do it like that? This scene, I know this scene. I'm not gonna read it because I don't want to like be blushing on camera, but it's the scene where here, I'll read you everything before the scene. Let me see. So this is when Katie's asking Damon questions about alien stuff. Page 191, and she's like, "Are you guys allowed to date people? Humans? Allowed is a strange word. Does it happen? Yes. Is it advised? No. So we can. But what would be the point? It's not like we can have a lasting relationship when we have to hide what we are. So you guys are like us in other departments. Come again. You know, like sex. I mean, you guys are all glowy and stuff. I don't see how certain stuff would work." And then it goes, I was just like, you didn't. Did I just knock off my sticky note? I did. You didn't. Next one is page 282, and this is when, I think, yeah, Damon comes over to Katie's house to talk and stuff, and she's wearing these elf pajamas, and she's like, "They're for my dad." And he's like, "Oh, you wear them because they remind you of him?" And she's like, "Mm-hmm." And then he goes, "My people believe that when we pass on, our essence is what lights the stars in the universe. Seems stupid to believe in something like that, but when I look at the sky at night, I like to think at least 2 of the stars out there are my parents. And one is Dawson." And she's like, "That's not stupid at all." And I was like, I love that. I put a nice world building and character growth. Not character growth really, but character revelation. Because we see Damon's hard shell slowly dwindle, and we see more parts of him. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this is part of the finale scene with Baruch. And he's like the 4th and last Aram that's like out to kill Katie and Damon and all the luck. But I could not laugh. Like, the first time I read it, I couldn't read it because I was laughing too hard. Because his dialogue, like, it's not like in quotes, it's just kind of like italicized. But the S's, man, the S's are so freaking pronounced. Like, there's so many, it's like it's too much for me. And I always imagine this like wispy voice too, like wispy, nasally, geeky voice. So it's like, what the hell? It's like, this is the line that kills me. 3 for 1 special. It's on 317, and just like 3 for 1 special. Like, what in the tarnation is this? I never can get past that line without laughing my ass off. Cause I'm like, how in the world? I got so many questions for Baruch now. Okay, 3 for 1 special. Like, you're integrated with society, first off. Like, just the fact that this villain would say that, like, if it was just oh look, a 3-for-1 special. Like, say if it was like this evil villain, I'm like, what the hell? That's so freaking weird. Like, it sounds so like non-villainous. So to me, I'm just like, is this what you wanted out of me? Did you want me to laugh? Because I think he's absolutely freaking ridiculous. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my review. I give this book a 6 out of 5 stars based on experience, and a 4 out of 5 stars based on technicalities and stuff like, oh, what about this and what about that? If you have the time, leave a comment. Did you read this book? Did you like it? What part did you like? Also, something I'd like to add in my overall experience. When I read this book sophomore year, I read it listening to Civil Wars, and every time I do read it, I listen to that. Do you read when you read books? If so, what book did you read during this, or what artist do you always read to? My name's Alexandria. This is my first book review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, so goodbye.